Can the Ravens go on a 5-game winning streak and keep this great run going? Let us know down below who you have scoring the first touchdown. That and so much more on this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yes. Welcome back to episode 353 of the Purple Rain Podcast. The Jameel McClain, Delshawn Phillips, Jihad Ward, Jeremy Zitta, Kyle Van Noy episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Kyle Van Noy to get a sack on Sunday. That would sound really, really nice. I think it might happen. Yeah, a lot to talk about. Preview episode, Ravens news. Yes. And we actually had some good news about the game last week that we just discovered before the game today, or before the stream today. So we'll tell you about that if you tail us in the Purple Rain Parlay. Not to brag too much, but you can follow us first off on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. This guy over here, Instagram X Sutton Def. Me, Instagram simply as10.prod, X simply as10. And like I said, if you want to know where to go and see the live reactions, the funny reactions, you go on X, look us up there. We will be live tweeting probably most of the time, as long as we're winning and hopefully not doom tweeting. Absolutely the worst. But a lot to talk about this week. Sutton, how are you feeling? 4-game winning streak, some low-key kind of Ravens drama. We'll get into that. But overall, how are we feeling as a whole?
Simply, I'm feeling good, man. I cannot complain. The Ravens are finally back at 500. They have a golden opportunity to go and get a winning record for the first time this season. So I'm happy about that, right? We'll get into the whole breakdown and everything later, but this is episode 353 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Again, my name is Sutton Def. Here is my host, my co-host, Simply AS10. I was thinking before we went live, Alex, you remember the very first episode of this show, of this podcast, when it was called the Simply and Sutton Def Show? That was it.
That was it, yeah. That was it.
We had one episode that was called the Simply and Sutton Def Show, our very first Purple Rain Podcast, episode 1. Right after that, we named it to the Purple Rain Podcast. And 5 years later, almost 5,000 subscribers later,
crazy.
Here we are. So it's crazy, right? Appreciate you guys again for rocking out with us all this time, coming through, whether you're an old subscriber, which we like to call a Purple Rain Pioneer, or you're part of the new gang, the New Rain Gang. We appreciate you either way. Make sure you like this video on YouTube. If you're watching on X, give us a follow. On X, Simply AS10 is tagged in this video. And then also, I'm the X account that it's streaming off of. You guys know how that works. Follow us on there. And then also give us a sub on YouTube as well. But again, we got the live chat in here. And also a big shout out to the replay gang. Hashtag replay gang. Big shout out to you guys. If you're watching after the fact, shout out to you. But got to go ahead and bring up who's here in the live chat, giving a shout out. We got Steve Loop in the house. What's going on, Mr. Loop?
What's up?
Hopefully the fam kicked some good field goals this week. I'm always smashing the over on Tyler Loop's field goals made, and he's always smashing that for me. So big shout out and salute to Tyler Loop and Steve Loop here in the chat. Ravens Flock 5752. What's going on? We got Mike. Motherfucking Flock gang. I don't know if that's exactly how it's supposed to go, but that's how I read it. That's how I like it. Shout out to you. Lisa Ann is in the house. Says, hey, Alex and Sutton Def, happy Thanksgiving to you both. And who's cooking next Thursday? Yeah, that's a good question. Hopefully the Ravens are cooking.
I'll be there. I will be there, spending my Thanksgiving there. I am never going to turn down a Joe Burrow hate watch in person. I'm 2-0 so far at the Joe Burrow hate watches at the bank. But I'll be at
you're going to be at the game?
I'll be at the game.
Oh, shit.
I'm there. Actually, me and Mr. Mod Roosh are going together. So listen, it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully, we win this week and win that game. I mean, we win these next 2 games. That vibes are high. We can shut down that offense. Don't want to look ahead, too much. But yeah, looking forward to next Thursday. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Like I said, hopefully the Ravens are cooking, right? And hopefully they're cooking something good, not some bullshit, right? Because Joe Burrow, no Joe Burrow, the Bengals are still equally as dangerous with those other weapons they have. But, we'll get to that preview when we get to it. Who else we got in here? King Blaze is in the house. What's going on, King Blaze? We got Moggs 420 in here. JD1313, one of our members. Appreciate you, JD, for coming through. Darlene is in the house. We got Zeke Hokage in here. Bo Knows, I see you. What's going on, man? Make sure you guys sound off in the chat, man. Kwame is in here. What's going on, Kwame? Appreciate you for popping out, coming through. We got my guy Coach Sip to Tally
What up? What
Film.
up?
So I
What
know
up?
a lot of you guys just came over from his channel. He was having his Sippers, the weekly hangout. I was in there under the guise of my alternate YouTube channel. You guys might not have recognized me in there, but it's a new thing I got going on in the works. So stay tuned for that. But shout out to Sip to Tally Films as well as always, brother. Appreciate you for coming through. I see Kogan Scherer in the house. What's going on, Kogan? Man, the rain gang is in full effect tonight. Full effect. Full effect. Love it. Appreciate y'all for coming through. All right. So, Sam, I see you. Chike, I see you. All right. So let's go ahead and get into what we came here to get into, right? Of course, we have the Ravens versus Jets preview, which is coming. Make sure you stay tuned. But we want to start the episode off with a couple of like quick hitters, right? A couple of pieces of news that came out through the week. Let's start with this. Let's start with the whole Eagles, Jalen Hurts, and AJ Brown saga, right? So it's been kind of like a discussion. There's been a lot of discourse online between national media, Eagles fans. They're all talking about this whole saga going on between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Do they like each other? Do they not like each other? It's kind of apparent now that they don't, right? Super chat donation in the house already. Woo! Cheat Gay making it rain here. Appreciate you, Cheat Gay. Hold the phone says also Thanksgiving. We got Packers, Lions at Detroit, and we also have Chiefs, Cowboys in Dallas, which I believe is the first time in 30 years that the Chiefs and Cowboys will be playing on Thanksgiving, especially in Dallas, guys. Yeah, it's going to be a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, good games.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really name a bad game on there. I think the Ravens Bengals look bad, starting the year off, especially if Burrow wasn't playing. But right now, I mean, Burrow will probably be back. Hopefully, the Ravens are at 6-5, and Ravens are playing for their season, and so are the Bengals. I mean, they're playing for a little bit of pride, so that looks good. I mean, the Chiefs right now, if the season ended, they're out the playoffs. They're playing for their lives. Cowboys, I mean, they can stay alive in the NFC, and the Packers, Lions. With the way how inconsistent those teams look, I mean, you really can't, I think, predict any of the games, I'd say, on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a toss-up for all of them. I mean, for the Ravens, hopefully not, but the first two, definitely.
And that's how it should be. I assume the Packers Lions are going to be first, right?
Yep.
They normally, Lions always play on Thanksgiving. It's just kind of like a tradition. Luckily, they're actually good now. It was so many years where the Lions were terrible, and the NFL was just literally force feeding us a healthy dosage of the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day, and I hated it every single year. But they're good. They got Dan Campbell and company. Jared Goff, I know, is your guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got some good things going on in Detroit. So it'll be a fun watch, especially with the Packers coming to town. The Packers are fun as well. Chiefs, Cowboys. Chiefs got their backs up against the wall. I'm sure we're going to talk about it later in the pick segment. But Chiefs got their back up against the wall, kind of like the Ravens do too. I mean, quiet as kept. And then Dallas, they're always going to be a frisky team, especially with the weapons they have on offense. But again, appreciate your super chat donation, Chike, as always, brother. I see we got D-Wiz in the chat, another one of our members in here. Appreciate you for coming through. Real quick, before we get back to our Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown conversation, real quick round of applause for all of the Purple Rain patrons here in the house.
Yes. That's so clap.
Absolutely. So yeah, Alex, let me toss it to you on this whole A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts thing. Do you think that it's like a real story behind this? I mean, some people are even saying maybe the Eagles will move off of Jalen Hurts. I've been hearing like a lot of players in that locker room, a lot of the coaches aren't too fond of Jalen Hurts. What do you make of all this?
Man, I really haven't put too much thought into it until I saw AJ Brown on a Twitch stream, basically voicing his frustration with a Commanders fan. You know what I mean? Like the fact he was with Janky Rondo, for those who don't know, who is a Commanders fan, a well-known Twitch streamer now. I think he's blown up massively over the past 2 years. I think for me, like he got big with the whole like, oh, I'm Mr. Perfect thing, and from then on, like, he's blown up. So good on him for having that type of connection. But when your star wide receiver, and I think AJ Brown, undisputed top 10 receiver, to not even debate it, you can put top 5, but I'm gonna say top 10 just to be safe. So go into a Twitch stream and basically voice your frustrations with a Commanders fan, which I think is like a really like interesting point. Like imagine if one of our Ravens players was talking to a Steeler fan and started like kind of like airing some dirt. I'd feel a type of way about it. So like you say, where there's smoke, there's fire. I definitely think there is, and it's shown. I think they were force feeding him the ball Sunday night. I mean, it kind of worked. They won on a phantom pass interference call, I'll say, on Rock Yassin, but they're not winning convincingly. And I do think there is some truth to the rumors that some players are not happy with him. And Usually that drama in the locker room doesn't go well, doesn't end seasons well. They right now leading the division, but how long can they keep it up? So I'm not too sure about that, but I don't think it'll end too well. I think one of those guys will be gone after this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because like it seems like you have a quarterback in Jalen Hurts who, can honestly, he can make every throw on the field. I've seen him do it in the biggest of games. And, by that I mean the Super Bowl in two of them actually. He's got a really good running back. The offensive line hasn't really been, they kind of have similar issues to the Ravens, to be honest with you. I mean, they have a star running back, but the offensive line isn't really stepping up, so that star running back hasn't been able to produce. And that star running back I'm talking about, of course, is Saquon Barkley. But it's kind of weird that the Eagles really have it made right now, right? They're kind of like, I look at them as kind of like the spoiled rich kids of the league right now. They got devil magic going on. They're winning a bunch of close one possession games, kind of like the Chiefs were doing last year. And you have guys who are just disgruntled in the locker room. It's like, why? You're winning games. You're fresh off of a Super Bowl. I mean, for me, if I'm the head coach, if I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm calling a players meeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're all gonna sit down and talk about this. We can all have a come to Jesus moment. Jalen Hurts, knock off all of the freaking Galileo and Shakespeare crap that normally comes out of your trap, and actually, like, I don't know, be a human, be a human being. Don't be a fucking Chat GPT philosopher. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to hear that. That's what I would do if I was Nick Sirianni. Like, just bring everybody together, because I think AJ Brown is probably just a little bit more, I guess, how do you say, genuine with his feelings and emotions, as Jalen Hurts is a little bit more stoic and kind of like, holds his cards close to his vest and not really like a dude in the locker room, right? And I feel like they need a little bit of that. He's more of like a buttoned up professional. And I guess AJ Brown has a problem with that. And like you said, he went on I think you said Janky Rondo, right?
Yep.
His
Yep.
stream. I don't know exactly how many followers Janky Rondo has. I would assume probably north of 100,000 at least, since you said he blew up, right?
He blew up. Like, I think last year was his big year when the Commanders were really good.
Yeah.
I know I followed him, I think 2 years ago. Like I said, when the whole like, oh, Mr. Perfect, I don't mess up. Like, that was like when I started following him because I thought that was hilarious.
Hmm.
And then I think, with the Commanders doing really well last year, is like when it skyrocketed. So I definitely say probably on YouTube, probably over 100K. Twitter, I know it's over 50K. TikTok, probably even more. But definitely known in the NFL community for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about somebody who gets, I think it's safe to say, millions of impressions, right?
Correct.
I mean, AJ Brown, you're getting on this platform and you're literally, I don't want to say necessarily throwing his team under the bus like directly, but you know what you're doing when you go on a platform that large and you kind of say these things about your team. So, like you said, I agree with you. I think that one of those guys will probably be moved out of Philly. If I had to guess who, it would probably be AJ Brown, because the whole diva wide receiver thing. I think that the Eagles kind of got they got the juice that was worth the squeeze, from AJ Brown, right? I mean, you got a guy who literally scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. You got a Super Bowl with him. So I don't think that they would be too opposed to moving off of an AJ Brown. The way that Howie Roseman moves, nobody's safe. You know what I mean? Like, they will make those type of Madden moves. So, and Coach says in the chat, he's got 206,000 followers. So yeah, like I said, 206,000 followers equals millions of impressions and engagements. AJ Brown knew what he was doing. Somebody's moving out of Philly for sure.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go
Yeah,
like
something?
yeah. I mean, how many times have we seen them pick a position player over a quarterback? It's
Yeah.
always the other way around.
Yeah.
They aren't getting rid of Jalen.
Yeah, I could see if Jalen Hurts was like objectively playing bad, but like, I mean, he's about as steady as they come when it comes to his performances, right? He doesn't make a whole bunch of mistakes. You can never really blame him for losing the game. I know one big gripe that apparently the coaches and some of the players have with him is he kind of plays on his own timing, right? He doesn't take as many risks as some other quarterbacks do. And maybe that kind of limits and caps the potential of that Eagles offense. I don't know. But either way, though, it doesn't really look good for the nucleus of Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Saquon Barkley for Philly moving forward. So We'll see if they make a move there. But we got almost 70 people watching live. Appreciate y'all for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 353. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, and let's keep on rocking. So next piece of news, Alex. We had I wanted to bring this to you. I talked about this yesterday on Quiet Storm. Joe Burrow might be back. You know, we kind of touched on it earlier. You said it last Thursday on the show. You were saying, like, you know, you said during our pick segment, you said if the Bengals lose and they go 3-7, is it really worth even bringing Joe Burrow back? Now here we are at 3-7 for the Bengals, and Joe Burrow is practicing in full, right? So what are you thinking about Joe Burrow right now? We do have a super chat donation from Brian DeRosa. We're going to get to that in 1 second. Appreciate you, brother. But go ahead about Joe Burrow.
This week they play the Patriots, just to remind you guys, and I had to take my mind back to 2021. Do you know who the number 1 seed in 2021 was in the AFC?
In 2021? Was it the Chiefs? You said
it was the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Who upset them at home?
And 21 is escaping me right now, Alex.
It's the Bengals. The Bengals went in there. Who was the coach of those Titans?
Vrabel.
Exactly. So here's what I'm going to say this. Do you think...
Uh-oh, did we freeze up? Can't hear Alex. I think we might have froze up for a second. Might have froze up for a second. Let me bring up Brian DeRosa's comment here. While that goes on. Oh, maybe it's me. Oh, no, Alex dropped out. For a second. He should be right back. It's a little technical difficulty there, but let me go ahead and address Brian DeRosa's super chat donation. Appreciate you, brother. Brian DeRosa says, if we win a Super Bowl, all-time sports comeback. Yeah, it would. After starting 1-5, I would love to know the stats on that. I'm sure no team that started 1-5 has ever won a Super Bowl. I mean, I'd have to double check it, but just saying. But go ahead, Alex. What were you saying?
Sorry. My extender got knocked out the wall, unfortunately.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. We're good here. We're good.
Okay.
With that being said, Mike Vrabel was playing the team that knocked him out, arguably his best team, a 1 seed. I think it's in the back of his mind. Now, with that being said, if you go 3-8, you're not coming back from that. And I don't care, if I'm being a hater, but that's just genuinely speaking facts. How are we coming back from 3-8 in this AFC where you're probably going to lose every single tiebreaker wildcard wise? Because division, you can kiss that goodbye. That's not happening if you go 3-8. So is it worth it? I'm not sure. I don't think it is, and I know they want to play him with all these contracts with Jamar, T, and Joe, but you're playing a good team in the Patriots, and you already got hurt because your line isn't that good. Who's going to say it won't happen again? So I think he's being rushed back. I know he wants to play, but if I'm the Bengals, man, you got to kind of look at the bigger picture. But if they want to play him, be my guest, play him. I don't think they win this week with or without him.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I think it is 2 weeks from now? I think they play the Buffalo Bills, and that game actually just got flexed from 4:00 to 1:00, right? In exchange for, I think it was the Packers versus Bears, I want to say. Packers-Bears game. So that tells you right there, I mean, the NFL is kind of like tossing the Bengals to the side for the season. There's, you guys aren't going to be competitive. Yes, you're going to have Burrow back, but we'd rather see a young Caleb Williams in this, 8-3 Bears team or 7-3, something like that. This surging Bears team, even though I feel like they're a little bit fraudulent, versus the Packers, the young Packers team. So I get that, but again, Burrow is you guys know how much I love Burrow. I love his game, but I do think that they should shut him down for the season, man. I mean, just live to fight another day. This is not the year. It's just not the year. Go ahead and get your draft picks, man. But okay, let's go ahead and move on here. Let's start talking about some Ravens stuff, right? 20 minutes in, let's finally start talking about the Ravens, right? So Wednesday, we learned something new, Alex. We learned that for the remainder of this season, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson will probably not be practicing on Wednesdays, right? So that was the big news that came out of Ravens camp yesterday, that Lamar Jackson did not practice on Wednesday. And none of the Ravens fans panicked. And luckily, this time around, most of the national media didn't panic, because we're kind of starting to realize here that, okay, this is going to be a normal occurrence. We're going to hold out Lamar Jackson. Maybe it's a vet day, whatever. But what was interesting, Alex, and here's what I want to get your take on. He popped up on the I Word report yesterday with an ankle. The week before that, he popped up on the I Word report with a knee. And of course, we all knew that the hamstring has been looming. So 3 different ailments in the leg. I don't know if it's all the same leg. What are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson being held out of practice? Do you think that this will impact his performance? Does it worry you at all? What are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson? He came back to practice today, by the way.
Definitely not worried, but I think it goes to show you why we haven't seen him run so much. You know what I mean? I mean, why would you want to if you're not fully 100%? And I think the Ravens are at the point now, like, how close to 100% can we get him? Because the element of his legs is going to open up Derrick Henry. And I'm glad nobody else is worried like me, because I'm starting to think the same thing too. It might just be the Wednesdays off, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But, and I know we'll get into what he said in the press conference today, but to me, it all comes back down to the line. We saw him get hit, excuse me, on Sunday, and that's what worries me. Lamar doesn't
Yeah.
worry me. It's the 5 guys in front of him which really worry me. And I saw a stat from, like, they ranked the 1 to the 30 teams that played this past week in the NFL.
Mhm.
Passing protection. Guess where the Ravens were? 1 to 30.
I'm going to go 25 plus.
We were 30.
Ooh.
Bottom ranked in analytics when it comes to pass protection for this line against the Browns. And yes, I know the Browns have a good front. Myles Garrett, all-timer,
Yeah.
generational. I'll throw that word. Absolutely generational. Fantastic talent. With that being said, though, 4 of these same 5 guys played against him last year, Week 18, and shut him down. What changed? What was McCarry that big of a deal? like, was he the glue?
He might have been, honestly. Now, like, in hindsight, thinking about it, he might have been the glue, because what we've got right now at guard, absolutely not cutting it. And it's funny you bring that up, Alex, is because today Lamar Jackson was asked about, how he feels about getting sacked so much, right? So a reporter asked, they said, hey, look, Lamar, did you know that this year you've been sacked already as many times as you did all of last year, right? And we're only in week 12, right? There's still, 6, 7 games, something like that, 6, 7
He
weeks
missed
left.
games.
Yeah, and he missed games, which is even crazier. D-Waz, appreciate the super chat donation. Bring him up on the screen here. D-Waz making it rain here on this episode of PRP. Says the referee for the game on Sunday is Cleet Blakeman. Okay. All right.
My favorite referee, I think. I do like Cleat.
Any
Solid.
any notable ones?
He did do our game against the Chargers in 2018 that we lost, but I don't
Mm,
think that was a poor game officiated. I think there were some reviews that were weird, but I like him. I think he's one of the better referees, I'd say.
got it. Got it. Okay. Appreciate the super chat donation, D-Waz, as always. So yeah, back to this whole Lamar thing, Alex. It really comes down to, and again, he was asked about the whole him getting sacked as many times as he did last year. And he said, oh, damn, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I got to talk to my guys about that. His guys, I assume, being that offensive line. So that kind of like, I mean, I didn't want to read too much into it, because I feel like when Lamar talks to media nowadays, and let me just say this, the way that Lamar Jackson talks to the media now is way different than how he used to, right? He was a lot more forthcoming in his younger playing days. He was a lot more, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, all that good stuff, right? But now he's like that seasoned vet who's just like, all right, I'm gonna answer these questions and then get out of my face. And maybe that's where that type of answer came from. Maybe it was a little bit sarcastic. Maybe it was a little bit, oh yeah, maybe I got to talk to my guys about that. As obvious that as that sounds, right? But it's going to wake up the fan base, because that's all the fan base has been talking about, is this offensive line and how they are going to get Lamar Jackson killed, right? So what did you make of that when Lamar Jackson said that earlier?
I'm happy he said it. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to take that, there was a little bit of meaning behind that joke. Just like most jokes, there's a small bit of meaning. But like you said, almost to the amount of sacks as last year, missing games. It, there's a reason, and I think now the national media. I saw Mina Kimes mention this O line. Beforehand, they were mentioning the quarterback play, but she said no. There's a reason why he hasn't been performing why he was last year and years prior because of the line. So I'm finally happy that not only is the local and Lamar talking about it, but the national media, because that really puts a spin on things. I'm tired of seeing like this whole Lamar down year. It's hard to be playing good when you have guys in your face after like a second and a half. So to put it all in just long story short, I'm happy that Lamar, made that joke because I hope those guys were listening. I see Easy G says shout to Lindy for taking accountability. 100%. He said it yesterday. Those guys got to be better. He's got to be better. And thank you for that. But other guys out there, man, I'm tired of seeing you guys just collect a paycheck because that's what it seems like these guards are doing. The film, I saw a couple of clips on Twitter, man. That was not good. I actually didn't even have the time to look at it. I just watched the defense. I watched Kyle Hamilton because I was really just like into just the way he played on Sunday was just mind-boggling. Offensive line though, yeah, I couldn't watch that. But Lamar, thank you for speaking up. I really appreciate that. And Linderbaum, thank you for taking accountability. Hopefully those guys next to you can step their game up.
Yeah, I mean, I also love that as well. And I'm glad that you got to that. Tyler Linderbaum yesterday saying that, a big reason why the Ravens aren't performing is because they cannot run the ball in the red zone. And that starts with the offensive line. And that's something that I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, right? I've made it a point to literally go and watch the all 22 film of just the red zone offensive plays for the Ravens, right? And see what is going wrong, right? On those run plays, you have Andrew Voorhees, you have Roger Rosengarten, you have Daniel Faalele. Those main three culprits losing. They are losing their assignments, right? And that's causing Derrick Henry to get hit in the backfield. It's causing the Ravens to get behind on the sticks and the down and distance. I'm sorry. And that's the problem. That's the big issue. So it's just funny to me how, John Harbaugh can get up there on, what was it, Monday or Tuesday, and talk about how the offensive line is playing pretty darn well. But then you have the literal centerpiece of your offensive line go out there and say, hey, look, it starts with us. We're not performing. So hopefully, and then Lamar Jackson, it seems like a progression, right? Early in the week, John Harbaugh says they're playing well. Middle of the week, Tyler Linderbaum says, hey, look, we need to play better offensive line. And Lamar Jackson says at the end of the week, right before the game, he's like, hey, look, I got to talk to my guys about playing better, So hopefully it kind of sparks something in this O-line and they start to perform better and start to put together some good games. But outside of that, man, not Lamar, but Harbaugh said that's the best five that's out there. I don't believe that. I want to see some Emory Jones. John Harbaugh did mention that Emory Jones is getting close to being ready to play. Andrew Voorhees is apparently dealing with a foot I-word right now. So you could potentially see maybe some rotation there, which is another thing, Alex. Like, what do you think? What do you think is the difference between this year and years past when it comes to the Ravens coaching staff's willingness to rotate guys? Because we used to see it all the time in the offensive line and the defense, but this year they just seem fixed on this five, right? What do you think that is?
We saw it was DJ Fluker and Tyree Phillips in 2020. They would always get switched in that the right guard position. It was kind of just like one gets one drive, one gets the other, depending. We saw, I think, with tackles before. I think even Falele was taken over sometimes in tackle out for Ronnie Stanley, out for Morgan Moses, depending that this isn't like a new concept that we're asking for. You can. I mean, there's obviously not a lot of chemistry or continuity because still like two packs of ass, unfortunately. And for me, I thought it was really funny that the legend of the game this week is Michael Orr, because if my knowledge is correct, I think we benched him in 2012. Before the playoff run, threw Bryant McKinney in there, and things changed. So it'd be poetic if you did the same thing. And I believe, as Cleo mentioned, if Emory Jones came in and was even average, he'll be treated like Marshall Yanda. And you know how sad but true that is? If he was just average, he would be looked as a hero upon this fan base. So you think, maybe what gives, and I saw even Ben Cleveland film come up from 2023. Him, holding his own against Christian Wilkins, who in 2023,
I saw that.
All Pro. That year got him a $100 million contract from the Raiders. So what happened? What are we not seeing? Is he really that bad? And I know we can still go on EDC, but to maybe Harbaugh say, no, I like the guys we have. If we sign anybody, back up. Not a starting caliber backup. Flele and Voorhees can do that. I'm wondering about that. How much has Harbaugh's hand been in this with this line as well? Is it, same as EDC?
TY89 puts here in the chat, says George Warhop came out before the season and said he was not rotating the offensive line this year. What sense does that even make? Like, what sense does that even fucking make? Just being so real with you right now, Alex. Like, you're telling me that you're going to trot out a product, right? And when there's been a massive recall on that product 2-3 months after you trotted it out there, and you're not willing to like pull it back and like reevaluate things, you should lose your job. I don't want to wish anybody out of work, but like, I know that I couldn't go to work and put forth a certain effort or a certain performance, right, and expect to still remain employed, especially if that performance was not up to par. And like consistently this year, we've seen, there's been a lot of issues that we've seen. The defense was a big problem, of course, early in the season. That got fixed, right? But now the biggest issue is that offensive line and not being able to get pushed so much to the point where we got to run trick plays against the 2-8 Cleveland Browns just to get 1 yard. I just don't know. Like you mentioned with John Harbaugh, man, like I always say the buck stops with John. He's the head coach, right? The problem is with the Ravens, a lot of those guys are so, you know what I'm saying? Like they're so close and tight knit. They don't run it like a business so much as they do like a family, right? And I think that kind of works to their detriment sometimes because they just get stubborn and they're not willing to move off of their ways that clearly aren't working. So it's something that we're going to have to, we kind of just got to cross our fingers and hope that this offensive line can kind of get their shit together, before the season really goes off the rails, because that's still a very real possibility, right? Ravens have an 82% chance to make the playoffs right now, right here, right now. If the offensive line continues to not perform up to par, you could drop one of those games to the Steelers. You could drop one of those games to the Patriots or the Packers, and then you're in a whole world of hurt. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, and you're 100% correct. And how long until we see perhaps maybe Tyus Bowser jokingly film hashtag, fire Warhop outside the castle like we saw the fire Greg Roman papers a couple years ago. You know what I mean? How long until that could become a thing? Because I'm glad, we're all starting to see kind of like this lineman coach, and Ty brings up every team Warhop left, the O-line was way better. I looked up his credentials like on the Ravens website. They were giving him credit for developing a Laramie Tunsil in like 18, 19, 20. Laramie Tunsil was an all-star before George Warhop came. Like they're giving him credit for guys who already developed. And when you look at their ranks as the line when he was there, it got worse. And it's not a coincidence. It's not. And the line to me is the reason why they won't win the Super Bowl. You can win with this line. You can.
Yeah.
You can maybe win one game lucky in the playoffs. You're not going to strike it twice.
Bro, I remember last year, before the divisional round game against the Buffalo Bills, we had our preview episode, and I was doing research on the offensive line for the Ravens and the defensive line, the base D line for the Buffalo Bills, and I saw that the Ravens had like 300 to 400 pounds of weight on that D line, right? And they still couldn't move them for the most part. The offensive line was still getting pushed around. So there's definitely going to have to be some addressing at that position in the offseason. I think I mentioned the other day on Quiet Storm, like first 3 draft picks, 2 of those should be O-linemen. Just straight out the gate. But that's just me, though. Alex, let's go ahead and get into some Ravens versus Jets talk, shall we?
We should. And real quick, I can't agree more with that. It should be linemen. I don't care if fans are upset. It's ugly. It's not sexy. But boy, do we need it. Let's talk about the Ravens and the Jets.
Yeah. It's definitely the more salubrious option, right? Everybody wants the skilled players and things like that, but you got to eat your veggies first, right? You got to eat your veggies first, and that's what the Ravens need. They need some health down there on that offensive line, some stuff that's going to do good for the rest of the team. So we came here to talk about Ravens versus Jets. This game is going to be just like every other game, massively important for the Ravens to win this one. Of course, these games where you're going up against a lesser opponent, you have to take care of business. So, Alex, let's go ahead and get into the Purple Rain report. Do you have the injury report, the I word report? I'm sorry.
Oh boy. The Ravens, I do.
Okay.
It's not it's not an MLA format yet, but we're kind of getting there. So the big news for today: Lamar Jackson is full. The only guys that did not practice was Keon Martin and Rashad Bateman. Outside of that, Stanley full, likely limited. Excuse me. Kyle Hamilton limited. Justice Hill full. Humphrey full. Roquan Smith limited. So we'll get Marlon Humphrey back this week. So that's
Yeah.
good news, I'd say. And Keon Martin being out, that sucks for him. I thought he played a fantastic game last week for a UDFA guy. So hopefully he can
Yeah.
get right. Let me see for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Only player who did not practice is Keeney Wongwu, running back, hamstring. He is their main kick returner. He has broken one off against us before when he was with the Vikings in 2021. Great return threat. If he can't play, I mean, that's, I know as minimal as it may sound, like losing your good kickoff return is big for them because they need to get as best field position as they can. Outside of that,
Yeah.
though, Will McDonald practice, Harrison Phillips, they're looking good. Obviously, Garrett Wilson on the IR, so he will not be playing. Probably their best player now, next to McDonald. So they're looking pretty good health wise compared to us, but get our guys back. So nothing really too much to write home about. Garrett Wilson will be a huge loss for them.
Yeah, absolutely will. And I do want to mention the NFL, we're getting into those cold weather months. Like you said, in Baltimore, how cold is it right now?
It's today. Well, right now it's 43, low 31. For Sunday, the weather will be 54 with a high. So kickoff should be it'll be around 50 in the 50s come kickoff.
Yeah, we're getting around that time where guys kind of lose their will to tackle, right? A little bit. So I will say this: I do think that Derrick Henry could be a big factor down the stretch of this season, especially if the offensive line can get their shit together, right, and start to run block and execute those blocks a little bit better. And maybe some more play design, some of the whams and traps and things like that. I was listening to a coach speak about earlier that the Ravens are starting to utilize now too. Maybe we'll start to see more of that. But again, I want to mention these cold weather games. It's typically when the I words start to pile up. So just keep that in mind. But again, going into this preview of the New York Jets visiting the Baltimore Ravens, what you're seeing right here is the pro preview courtesy of the NFL and Next Gen Stats. And these are interesting to me because it kind of gives you some good insight on how these two teams are doing at a glance, right? So
Yeah.
things that kind of stand out to me on this one, of course, the Ravens are minus 13.5 point favorites. That is probably the biggest. This is the biggest favorite that the Ravens have had all season, probably, if I had to guess, right? But one thing that stands out to me here is the turnover differential. So if you're not watching the video broadcast and you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, let me read it off to you. The New York Jets rank dead last in the league in turnover differential, right? At minus 11, right? So that means that they are not taking away the football, but at the same time, they're giving away the football, right? At the worst rate in the league. Now, on the other side, our Ravens started off very, very slow this season, trying to creep their way back into being a positive on the turnover differential. They're minus 2 right now, which ranks 18th in the league. So that's something that I definitely want to see. I want to see the Ravens take the ball away from the Jets, continue to build confidence for that defense. That is going to be, it's going to be huge, right? Going down the stretch of this one. I want to see this Ravens team put this game away early, knowing that we have 2 games in 5 days. Of course, the Ravens play on Thanksgiving against a divisional opponent. It's going to be tough. Another one that I'm looking at as well is the point differential. Jets really aren't scoring a whole bunch of points, right? Point differential, they're 25th in the league at negative 59. The Ravens are sitting at 18th at just plus 1. So the Ravens got to start putting up some more points as well. It's going to be huge. Let's go down to some of the key advantages here.
Yes.
Alex, when you look at some of these numbers here, and I think I sent
Yeah,
some of this to you
you
earlier.
did.
What are you seeing, and what are your keys to victory for the Ravens to get a win?
So I'm looking at it right now. It's the deep passing.
Hmm.
The Jets are number 32, dead last. And I'm also looking at the passing versus the blitz, number 25.
Mm.
When
Mm.
Shador Sanders came in, I thought Zach Ward did a fantastic job of pressuring him, bringing the blitz. Kyle Hamilton, Keon Martin, guys like that. We weren't getting home, with the Van. Well, we did get home with Van Noy, but with the Mike Greens, with the um, with our with our guys up front, we're getting home with our guys in secondary. With Tyrod Taylor being
Yeah.
not back there, who he is mobile in a sense, but he is not Justin Fields mobile. Let's just
Yeah. And he's
completely
older.
be yeah, let's just be real. So I feel with him, he's not if he gets hit, he's not going to try to stay upwards and take another hit. Like, he's going to go down. I think Zach Ward has a fantastic game plan, just for him to go out there and just dominate. I don't want to get too high about what he could do because it's an NFL team at the end of the day. But when you look at that number 25 against the blitz and with what we have, with Humphrey coming back, with the way Hamilton's been
Yeah.
playing, by the way, defensive player of the year, throw a vote in there for him. I don't think it's the
For
worst thing in
sure.
the world. That's how you can just shut them down. Bring that pressure because I want to see them beat us. Make them beat us because who are you going to throw it to?
Yeah.
Your
I mean,
guy's
I,
out.
I I really don't know. Like you said, their guy is out right now. Garrett Wilson, who is one of the best receivers in the league, one of the most talented at least. He's out, and I think are you looking up the rest of their guys at receiver?
So AD Mitchell, John Mechie,
Okay.
Isaiah Williams. AD
Yeah.
Mitchell had an absolute stinker on Thursday night. Drops. It wasn't good. A bunch of targets,
Mm.
one catch. Granted, it was Fields in there.
I think
John
Mechie
Mechie, I did like
had a
him.
touchdown.
Yeah. Alan Lazard. I mean,
Mm.
I like Mason Taylor as a tight end, the rookie.
It's like
But
nothing scares me. You know what I mean?
Brees
Nothing
Hall doesn't
scares
want to
me.
be there.
Nope.
Brees Hall, he's Awuzie. I trust him. It's how I. This defense should have a field day. Keyword should.
Yeah, they should. They should. Some other numbers that we're looking at here, and one thing that I kind of wanted to focus on was the Jets defense, right? Because obviously,
Mm.
I think the Jets offense is going to look a little bit different going from Justin Fields to full time Tyrod Taylor. So, but if you look at here, like the Ravens' main advantage, at least numbers wise, is passing versus play action, right? So when the Ravens run play action, that's when they excel the most in the passing game. And with the threat of Derrick Henry, and with how well I think he's going to be able to run the football, I think you're going to see some really, really big plays and potentially some deep passes off of play action in this one. You guys see how bad the Jets defense is versus play action. I think it's only going to get worse when there's the threat of Derrick Henry. Those linebackers are going to come in a little bit closer. This could potentially be, it's going to be a surprise to a lot of people. This could potentially be a very big Zay Flowers game as well. So all things to look out for there. Let me see what else we have. What else do you see here, Alex, that kind of stands out to you?
I mean, I was looking at their defense. I think then the one picture you sent me. Let me pull it up real quick. I know you have it up one here. I think it was just also the rushing out of the shotgun. They're 30th against that. I feel like if Lamar can get a little bit healthy, even just the threat of him in the shotgun with Henry, that could open this game up. 30th, man. I didn't know it was this bad, and I thought they had some talented guys. I think Will McDonald's talented, Jermaine Johnson, obviously trading Quinton Williams. That's one guy. That's one guy. And they're still they're like it just shocks me how bad they are considering the talent they had. And another one I'm going to go with design runs 20th. If Lamar's healthy, healthy enough to run, are they going to run him? I don't think they will because I'll tell you this: you bring up the secondary. Zay
Yeah.
Flowers, I'm looking at you. Those time and throws. I can see him getting some. Andrews, I would take his over. Just a fair warning. I think he'll have another good game, and I want to say likely maybe get open. I think he would excel against whoever they throw on him. As I'm talking about their defense as well,
Okay.
want to bring up a quote from a former Raven. Brandon Stevens told reporters he's always wondered what the visiting locker room at M&T Bank looked like. Asked about the environment in Baltimore, he said it gets a little funky on third downs for sure.
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
Funky. Yeah. In the good way or the bad way?
Yeah.
So I
Interesting.
think we'll be targeting him as well.
I think so too. I mean, he's been one of their well, probably what their best corner this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been their best corner this. He's been balling out, and I don't know, what changed between last year and this year in 2023. But shout out to Brandon Stevens. He's been playing better with the Jets, but I think again they're definitely going to target him. I think this is going to be a big game for the passing game. It's going to be a big one. You know how long the explosive plays last. I don't think very long, only because I think that the Ravens do get a lead in this one at home. They kind of take the Jets out of it, start running all over them, maybe stop, throwing the ball down the stretch of the game. But it should be, and again, I think my biggest key to victory is not even necessarily like an X's and O's thing, but it's like a psychological thing. When you play against teams that you're supposed to beat, what you never want to do is make them feel like it's even at any point. Because if you give them kind of like that spark of like hope and life, right? That can completely turn around, their performance. You can throw their record out of the window. You can throw their stats out of the window as well. And that whole any given Sunday moniker that people put on, NFL football Sundays, that will come true. And again, the Ravens cannot afford to lose this game. This is not one that you want to look past. You cannot look past any team right now, right? So this is one where you got to lock in. I want to see Lamar Jackson on the bench in the fourth quarter. That's what I want to see, because again, 2 games in 5 days against a divisional opponent on Thursday. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Let me see. Bo Knows says it's going to be a Tez Walker game. I like that.
If he gets
I like that.
targets.
Yeah. If he gets targets, but I think that Zay Flowers, and I keep putting stock in Zay Flowers when I know damn well he's going to catch anywhere between 2 to 5 balls and have 50 to 70 yards receiving and no touchdowns. That's probably what's going to happen. But I'm putting my faith once again in Zay Flowers to show me something this week. So hopefully he does. Do you have any bold predictions for this one, Alex, before we get to our score predictions?
What did I say last week? I said something crazy last week. I forget what it was. Bold predictions. I mean, a Van Noy sack. It's not really that bold. Hamilton pick, I want to say, but he has to hold on to it. Would have had one last week. He dropped one last week. Hamilton dropped a freaking pick last week. You know what? Nate Wiggins back-to-back games interception. I'll take that. I like that for this week. So yeah, give me that. Give me a nice little Nate Wiggins pick.
Okay,
Maybe a pick 6. I think he'll jump one.
Okay, I mean, and that's the thing. He's been playing a lot more reactive lately. A lot more. Well, not reactive, but like proactive, right? Reactive was what they were doing early in the season. The soft zone, just kind of let everything come to them. But lately I've been seeing them attack a lot more, which I love to see. So hopefully you're right there. Nate Wiggins, back-to-back games with a pick. That would be beautiful. I'm going to stick with my bold prediction from, I think, last week and maybe the week before as well. But a Kyle Hamilton sack,
Okay.
I still think it's coming. He got one last week, but I still think that is like a very real thing every single week. And I would love to know what the odds are for him to get a sack this week. Because it's just one of those things, man. Like, it's not favored to happen. But if you're a Ravens fan, like you mentioned earlier, our best pass rushers right now are our DBs. So like it's very, very possible that he could get a sack. So maybe we'll pull that up in the Purple Rain Parlay segment. What's going on, Brandon Tillman? Appreciate you. I see you in the chat. Go, man. What's up? But let me see. I see some of you guys talking trash about Kyle Hamilton in the chat, talking about he can't catch the football.
Yeah, in Cleveland. Yeah. It was there. And he kicked it away for the delay game. Like, oh my gosh. Stupid stuff, man.
Yeah. Bonehead mistake. Speaking of Kyle Hamilton, I've been kind of talking about him on Twitter about how I feel like the way that we utilize Kyle Hamilton is not very sustainable at all. I know you saw the tweet earlier this week that showed how many snaps he's played at all these different positions. He's literally played every single position on the defense. And again, we're talking about going into these cold weather months where you're going to be asking him to run into 300-pound guards. Really? You know what I mean? Like on a consistent basis and basically be playing a linebacker role. And then, on the next play, go ahead and drop back into coverage. And, on this play, guard the slot. It's just like it's too much. It seems like it's going to be too much. I don't know how long it's going to last. I want to see some of the linebackers start to step up so maybe they can take over that role and we can see Kyle Hamilton, not as in traffic so much, right? Because it's just only but so much. I don't know how much Kyle Hamilton weighs. I would assume maybe 230,
Yeah.
something like that. But like, you don't want to have him literally running into guys like being a crash dummy, because it's just not going to last long. As you guys saw last week, he was banged up, right? He has a shoulder and a groin right now that he's dealing with. Like, neither of those sound good, and you need both of those to be physical. So, but what did you look up his weight?
6'4", 218. There you go.
Okay.
Damn near on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. You could take that how you want. I love what we're getting from Kyle Hamilton, but how long does it last? That's my only thing.
Yeah. Especially the new contract too. It's like you want to see him play at his highest level for the whole contract, not for the first 2 years because he's banged up. I'm right there
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. And Khalil brings up a fabulous point here. Says, until we get an organic pass rush, K-Ham is going to be on the line of scrimmage. And that's true. I mean, we got to see guys step up on the edge, man. We have to see Mike Green turn the corner. I know he's young, but it's going to be necessary. We're going to have to see Kyle Van Noy really start to kind of turn the clocks back and give us the Kyle Van Noy that we saw in 2024 that had 12 and a half sacks. Right now, he's only got 2 on the season, albeit he missed a couple of games earlier this year. We got to see somebody step up, on that offensive line, not offensive line, but that front 7, right? Somebody's got to get home organically, because we just cannot allow Kyle Hamilton to continue to be a crash dummy. So, score predictions. Alex, score predictions for this game. Who do you think wins, and what do you think the score will be?
Baltimore Ravens 34, New York Jets 13.
Okay. I love that score prediction. I am going to go. By the way, I feel like your score prediction last week was pretty close. I can't remember exactly what you said, but I feel like yours was pretty doggone close.
I think I had us
I have
like
to go back
31 to like 17. I think I didn't have it close. Last week was way too.
Well,
close
you were close on guessing their. You were close on guessing their score.
Yeah.
So, but I'll go only because I don't think that the offensive line takes that next step up this week. I think that we're gonna spend a whole another week talking about how that offensive line needs to be changed and adjusted. So I'm gonna go 26 to. I'm gonna go 26-17. I'm gonna go 26-17. Similar to our score total or our score from last week. I think it could go similarly, man. I just don't know if this offense is ready to start firing on all cylinders. Hopefully we see a big Derrick Henry game. Ideally, I would want the Ravens to put up 35 plus in this one and only allow, 20 or less. But I just don't have anything to go off of right now, Alex. That'll tell me, or that tells me that this offense is going to take that step forward. I mean, of course, you have the 2-time, should be 3-time MVP Lamar Jackson. He's liable to go off on any given day, but only he can do so much without a competent offensive line. Somebody put in the chat earlier, I mean, he's being pressured on 30% of his dropbacks. And guess what? On 30% of those pressures, I mean, he's getting sacked, right? A third of the time that he's getting pressured, he's getting sacked. It's just not looking good, man. And again, with all of the ailments in his leg, the ankle, the knee, of course, the hamstring, I can only expect but so much, right?
Best 5, they said. Best 5.
Yeah. Top 5,
Joking.
top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Are you joking
Yeah.
me?
Kidding me, right? Yeah. But that is our score prediction for this game. I see you guys dropping your score predictions in the live chat. Make sure you drop your score predictions down below in the comment section, right? Drop them down below in the comment section if you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Even if you're watching live, go ahead and drop your score predictions down below in the comments. I want to see them after the fact so we can kind of go through those too. But Alex, I think it's time for us to go ahead and get into some picks, no?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's time for our weekly Purple Rain Picks segment.
Yes, so starting off tonight, Thursday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills against the Davis Mills-led Texans in Houston. I'm taking the Bills in this one. I think they need to win this. I think if they lose this, there should be no excuse. I think right now I checked their odds. They are the favorite to win the AFC. I don't know how, but yeah, give me the Bills to win this one. I know it's in Houston. Could be a little bit of a trap game, but I think they're too good to drop this one.
Yeah, I was thinking about actually going to that game, man. I got to check the ticket prices last minute. I might ride
Oh,
out there.
you
Let me
should.
check the ticket prices real quick. But real quick, before I get my pick on this one, last week, Simply, you were 10 for 15 at 66% hits. I was 9 for 15 at 60% hits. So let's see if we can get to like 70 or 80% today. But you said you got the Bills for this game, right?
I do.
I'm going to take the home team in this one. I'm going to go with the Texans. I'm going to take the
Okay.
Texans in this one. I know it's no CJ Stroud. You got Davis Mills instead. However, this Bills team has struggled to stop the run. I could see this maybe potentially being a big either Woody Marks or Nick Chubb might turn the clocks back, keep Josh Allen off the field. Of course, being at home in NRG Stadium is going to get loud. It gets very loud in that stadium. If you even give them a sliver of hope, they're going to turn up and they're going to make something happen. They're 5-5. They're fighting for their season right now too. Plus, Nico Collins has been playing really well. I think Dalton Schultz has himself a good game. Give me the Texans in a close one.
Okay. All right. Moving on now. The 1 o'clock games. The Colts. Actually, by the way, we're done with the international games. So if you dislike them, they're over with. Now moving on to the Colts and the Chiefs. 1 p.m. on CBS. I have the Chiefs winning this. I'm still not sold on them boys in Indianapolis. And when I trusted them, they let me down. So until you prove me wrong right here, I'll change my mind. But give me the Chiefs in this one. They're 5-5. They're fighting for their lives. I trust them to get together. Yeah, Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Chiefs as well, but I am going to say this is going to be one of those games where I'm going to take the Colts to cover the spread at +3.5. I think it'll be close. It's going to be in Arrowhead. The Chiefs are having very, very bad identity issues right now. I mean, they're passing way more than they're running, and that's been to their detriment. So, but I do think that they pull this one out. Their back is up against the wall just like ours. I think a little bit more than ours right now because their division is very, very tough. They don't really have a path to win their division. I think it's the Broncos probably wrap it up. But give me the Chiefs in this one.
All right, cool. Moving on. Seahawks, Titans. Seahawks to bounce back.
Yeah, Seahawks.
This one's interesting. Vikings, Packers. Vikings on a skid. Packers, I still don't know who the hell they are. Scraped away from the Giants last week. Jordan Love got banged up, came back in. Josh Jacobs went out. I'm going to pick the Packers purely because they're home and the Vikings just don't know who they are. And JJ McCarthy doesn't look good. Packers.
I'm going to go with the Packers as well. This is one of those games where, divisional. Both these teams know each other very well. I am going to take the Packers. I'm going to give them the edge just because they have, again, man, I think Jordan Love, that O-line, Christian Watson, I think is going to come around. Dobbs, I still like as well. I just think they're a little bit more put together. And the whole JJ McCarthy thing, there's been rumblings coming out of Minnesota that, a lot of people in that locker room don't really feel too strongly about one Mr. 9, right? JJ McCarthy. I'm gonna go with the Packers in this one, and I'm gonna lay the points with them -6.5.
I'll tell you this, I'm wearing this LSU crew neck right now.
Okay.
Mr. Jefferson, would you like to switch that purple and come to the real purple team?
Hey now.
Would you like it? Do you like crab cakes?
Do you like them? AJ Brown, you too.
Hey, come on now. Moving on to the next game. It's going to be the Giants and the Lions. Lions just want to bounce back. Giants are showing heart with Jameis Winston back there at quarterback, but I think the Lions are going to be pissed off at home. Going to win this. Yeah, Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions as well in this one. No brainer for me.
And I'll tell you this. I would like the Ravens game to hopefully be a blowout because I would love to have this game won as well. Steelers and Bears in Chicago. Aaron Rodgers is going to want to play at his second home in Chicago. Going to want to beat them. And the Bears, I hope their players know how much this Aaron Rodgers guy hates them and disrespects them. They're on, a nice little run, 7 out of their last 8. With that being said, though, I think the Steelers edge them. Mainly for the fact that you said they're low-key kind of fraudulent. I think if they are for real, Caleb and Rome have a big day. But when they played, a physical team like the Ravens, it didn't go too well. So give me the Steelers in this one, probably on some BS. But yeah, Pittsburgh to win. Don't want them
I'm
to.
going to take
Bears.
the Steelers to
prove me wrong.
Yeah, hopefully, right. Hopefully the Bears can put something together and they can walk out of there with a W. But I am going to go with the Steelers. it very much feels like a game they're going to win against a young quarterback, a team that's kind of like, again, might be on fraud watch, at least to me. They're on fraud watch, but the rest of the league, national media is kind of singing their praises right now. Oh, Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, they may finally be putting it together. I don't think so. I'm gonna go with the Steelers, who I know can beat any team on any given day. I think it's gonna be one of those days. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah. Moving on now to the Patriots and the Bengals in Cincinnati. Yeah, Patriots, I don't care who the quarterback is. I just think their defense can hold up, at least put a little Band-Aid on to stop the Bengals at least a couple of drives, but I don't see the Bengals defense stopping the way Drake May's been playing.
Yeah, same. I have the Patriots all the way in this one. I don't see them dropping another game until they come to Baltimore.
Hey, now, moving on. Browns and Raiders, low-key a stinkfest, but going to get some buzz because Mr. Shador is the starting quarterback for the Browns. This will be interesting. This is a weird one to make.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Browns, I'll say. I think they'll beat the Raiders just because the defense. I think Garrett might have a big play. But take the under, I'll say, on the points.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one. But I'm going to go Browns plus 3.5. I'll have the Browns covering the spread here. I think that Shador and company, Shador just himself will give that offense a little bit of life. I don't know about you, Alex, but I kind of saw guys like Jerry Jeudy start getting excited when Shador Sanders was throwing the ball to him last week, and they were excited and inspired almost to make plays. So I think you'll see a little bit of that. But at the same time, though, I think it's going to be a big Max Crosby game. And the Browns fall just short to the Raiders because I think it's going to be in Vegas as well. Yeah, it's going to be in Vegas. Give me the Raiders in this one.
Nice. All right, next up, Jags and Cardinals. Give me the Jags in this one. I think they're fighting for a lot. Jacoby Brissett played, honestly, really, really good last week. I have him starting in fantasy, but I think the Jags need to go 7-4 to even have, playoff hopes. So Jags to win this one.
Yes, I also do have the Jags winning this game. They're kind of like a up and down, hot and cold team, but they're sneaky good, man. Give me the Jags.
This one, Eagles-Cowboys, 425 in Dallas. Cowboys, a really good win on Monday. Eagles, I don't know who the hell they are. And I'll tell you this. I'm picking the Cowboys to win this one. I think this could be starting to get the nail in the coffin for this Eagles and this team and this chemistry. Give me the Cowboys in the upset, I think.
That is a really, really good pick. I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. I feel like as boring, as uneventful as the Eagles have seemed this year, they're still 8-3 right now, and I think they're 8-3 for a reason, man. I'm gonna take the Eagles, but in a close one. I will take the Cowboys to cover the spread at plus whatever they are.
Yeah, they put up 26 points in the past 2 games combined. 26 points. The Bills damn near scored that in the fourth quarter against us. Not to bring back bad memories. 425. Falcons Saints. This is a toilet bowl here. Tyler Shuck against Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Drake London's not playing. I'm going to take the Saints.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Saints right here. Just because, why not?
I picked the Falcons under the assumption that Drake London was playing. I'm still going to stick with the Falcons. I feel like you get a legacy Kirk Cousins game. No Drake London, but he finds a way to throw 2-3 touchdowns in the big 2025. And the Falcons pull this one out. Give me the Falcons.
Sunday night, Bucks Rams, and boy do I wish Bucky was fully healthy, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, because this would have been fireworks. Yeah. But I have the Rams winning this. To me, best team in the NFL. Matt Stafford leading the MVP. Sean McVay, fantastic coach. Defense playing well. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I also have the Rams winning this one. The Bucks have been on a little skid here recently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, man. Not looking too good for them after a pretty promising start, but the Rams are flying high right now. By the way, we held those guys to 17 points. And had Zay Flowers not had 1, maybe 2 fumbles, I feel like the Ravens might have been able to walk out of there with a W in that one. But I am going to take the Rams to beat the Bucks in this one.
The final game of the week, the Panthers and the Niners in San Fran. Panthers, I don't know who they are. And I'm tired of seeing all the praise for them because they are a very inconsistent team. Niners to win this one. Brock Purdy's back. Good game last week. 41 points, 2 or 3 touchdowns. McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns. Shit. Kittle's going to have a touchdown this week again. 49ers to win this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. Like you said, man, Panthers are so hot and cold, but they do win a lot of close games. So if this one gets close, I mean, I can see. I mean, Bryce Young played very well last week. What he had, like 400 yards, something like that.
Yep.
Probably the best game of his career. But I still am going to go with Shanahan, Purdy company with the 49ers.
And there it is. Our picks for week 12.
All right. So those are our picks. I think it's might be time to make some money, Alex. You ready?
It is time to make some money. Let's do it.
Time to make some money. Let's do it.
And as always, please, please, please gamble responsibly. Now, with that being said, last week was watching the game, wasn't paying any attention to the lay that we put in. And you may say, hey, what was the lay that you guys put in? Glad you asked. Over 37.5 total match points. Zay Flowers over 58.5 receiving yards. Mark Andrews over 29.5 receiving yards. Green. That is a plus 412 winner. Felt good for the Ravens to win that and to go on the FanDuel and say, hey, that money's in my account. So that was good. So why not go back to back?
Back to back. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Ravens Jets. What are you feeling? Over under right now is 44.5. Spreads 13.5. Derrick Henry's a minus 240 to score. Kind of stinky.
Yeah.
Anybody you're thinking about?
First off, Lamar Jackson rushing yards.
Oh. The line is at 34.5.
Under.
I like that.
I'm taking the under. Because, I mean, as we all know, Lamar's banged up. It's clear. When you watch him on Sundays, he does not look quite as electric, does not look quite as fast. He's running the least amount of design runs this year than he has ever in his career previously. I also think that this game could potentially, for the Jets, get a little bit out of hand, especially in the second half in Baltimore. Of course, if the Ravens are up 2, maybe 3 possessions, God forbid, right? They'll stop running Lamar altogether. Lamar won't even want to run. They'll probably be running Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry for most of the game. Give me the under on Lamar Jackson's rushing yards. Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I mentioned it before. Mark Andrews for me. His over-under line is the same, 29.5. I can see this being a game where he gets open, 3 to 4 catches, 40 yards. I see him hitting it once again.
We talked about the Jets being susceptible to play action passes, and we talked about the Ravens excelling at play action passing. That is a recipe right there, especially with Mark Andrews coming off of the big game that he just had. That's a recipe for Mark Andrews going over. You said, what's the line? 29.5?
Same as last week. Hasn't moved.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm comfortable with taking the over on Mark Andrews 29.5. Let's do it.
And I'm going to say this just for you because you always ask me. Zay Flowers' line is at 4.5.
They dropped it down. Well, no, it was 4.5 last week, right? It was 4.5 last week.
Yeah,
but he only had 3. Yeah, 3 catches. I'm not really comfortable going with the Zay Flowers receptions at this point. I don't know. I mean, maybe let's look at his yards. What is his yard total?
62.5.
What are the odds on that?
Minus 114.
Minus 114. Interesting. Let's keep going. I know we got 2 so far.
Yeah.
We got to get a good third one. Yeah.
Brees Hall, 2.5 receptions, minus 130. I'm only looking at, I think Tyrod might have some guys' hands in the face. Could have a little dump off.
Yeah.
Could be some designer Brees Hall. I think he's probably the most electric guy on the offense right now. Yeah. I can go to passing. Not sure what we're looking at passing wise. The over-under for touchdowns, Lamar 1.5, Tyrod Taylor 0.5. Passing yards for Lamar. Yeah.
Is it plus money for Lamar Jackson touchdown passes? Over?
It's minus 180.
Shucks. I thought after last week they might have blessed us.
I wish. But for the passing yards, Tyrod 189 and for Lamar 207.
Okay. Eh,
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan on betting passing yards, to be
it's
honest
pretty
with you,
stinky.
Alex. I'm not a big fan of that. How about Keaton Mitchell rushing yards? Get a little hipster with it.
Man, you know they don't have one here.
Oh,
And
they don't
right now
have
it's
him up
just
yet. Damn.
Henry, Hall, Jackson, Taylor.
Got it. Henry, what's he looking like? Rushing yards.
87.5.
Ugh. Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chat, what do y'all think? I mean, do y'all like Derrick Henry over 87.5 rushing yards? Do you like what is it, Zay Flowers over 62.5 rushing yards? Between those two, which one do you like better, Alex?
I like Derrick Henry. I think we're gonna see another big run, but this one's going for a touchdown. I really
You
do.
know, last week I had a parlay. I think I put in like $10. It was like a lotto to win like 300 or something like that. And one of my legs on there was Derrick Henry 5 rushing yards in every quarter.
Mm.
And that was the only leg that didn't hit
Really?
because the Ravens did not give him the football only but 2 times in the fourth quarter. It was like 2 or 3 times, and
Ooh,
it went
you're
for
right.
negative runs or like 1 yard, something like that. And it made me just realize, like, why would I pick Derrick Henry to get 5+ yards in every quarter? Because when you think about it, that's basically like a 4-leg parlay right there in itself.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what kind of sucks about it. That's what's hard about it, as opposed to betting his rushing yards, and he could have one big run in cover pretty easily. So I don't know, man. I feel like there's something we're missing. What's the point total?
44.5.
So that would be assuming that the Ravens offense actually gets their shit together and starts scoring touchdowns,
And
right?
this Zay Flowers plus 140 anytime touchdown. Please stay away from this.
Oh yeah.
Please. It's
Oh God, no.
It is not worth it.
No.
One touchdown this year. It is not worth it.
Yeah.
At
No.
all.
Not doing that. Not doing that. And then the spread is minus 13.5.
They have Charlie Collar at plus 250. What happened to the days of the plus 1600s?
Right?
Where
Like,
did we go wrong?
Vegas is starting to get hip, and I don't like it.
He is the same odds as Isaiah likely to score a touchdown. That is awful. It's awful.
No value. No value.
I know likely doesn't have a touchdown, but he can get one, I think, at any time. Likely can. Justice Hill plus 420.
For a touchdown? I mean, no, I'm not taking Justice Hill touchdown. But I will say, I think we can go with the Zay Flowers 62.5. I think that Zay Flowers hears the noise, man. He's got to hear the noise. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Ravens Wired episode where he's like talking to his guy on the sideline. He's like, yeah, put this in the video. Like, I got to cut back, basically. You know what I'm saying? I got to. But I think he, Lamar Jackson's going to make it a point, get him the ball, especially in the play action passing. And Zay Flowers is going to try to make it a point to get in that end zone. He knows just as well as we do that he's only got one touchdown. He's going to want 20 million plus coming up on his contract negotiations. So I think that he goes ahead and he has a big game. Let's go with the over 62.5 for Zay.
And there it is. So, 3 legs.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson under 34.5 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Andrews over 29.5 receiving yards.
I like
Zay
it.
Flowers over 62.5 receiving yards. The same thing, except that 2 of the 3 legs are the same from last week. But the Lamar under, I think it hits as well. I think this is another green bean plus 487. Why not go back to back?
Why not go back to back? And there you have it. Always remember, please gamble responsibly if you are tailing us. We're looking to go back to back, though. So we'll report back next week on whether or not we did. But that is going to be our Purple Rain Parlay segment. Let's go ahead and get it out of here. But yeah, guys, look, it's been a great episode. This has been episode 353 of the Purple Rain podcast. If you're just now getting in here, make sure you go ahead and hit that little rewind button if you're watching live, because we talked about a lot of good stuff here on this episode. Again, before you guys get out of here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow him over there on Twitter at SimplyAS10 or on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. But with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out of this one.
Yeah, thank you for coming through. Up to 353. Purple Rain podcast. Love you. Appreciate you. Let's see you on Monday with a back-to-back parlay and a 5-game winning streak. Get a $5 bill, put it on there, and have a good weekend. Yeah. Stay positive and test freaking negative.
Yes, yes, yes. And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 353 of PRP. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.